Dream Rare Podcast is back. We're going to talk about the report that Ron DeSantis is going to be launching his 2024 presidential campaign bid with Elon Musk on Twitter Spaces. It seems like that's going to happen later today. We'll see if it does. Then I'm going to read a report about the Durham report. This is something that conservatives and Republicans have been waiting for years because a man named John Durham was appointed special counsel to investigate the FBI and how they dealt with former President Donald Trump. Was it a flop? Was it a success? We'll talk about it. Seems like there was a lot there. A lot that people already knew, but now it's more official. I'm also going to talk about the WNBA and Brittany Griner, just an interesting story I saw on Instagram, and how average people are responding to everybody trying to aggressively promote the WNBA. And on this stream, talking about my trip to Alaska, some cool things that happened, and a few updates on how the show's going to change. God bless you folks. Dream Rare Podcast starts now. It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Dream Rare Podcast. While I was gone, some of the tech that I use has changed. So hopefully it looks fine, but it's been a little different in the back end. I'll get used to it as I get back. The chat is public today on YouTube. I'm opening it for today, not just for members. So I hope you guys appreciate that. And I have a few stories I want to talk about. The first one is Ron DeSantis reportedly announcing his bid on a Twitter space with Elon Musk today. That's the report. Second thing I want to talk about is the Durham report. I'm actually going to read a cool article by The Hill where they talk about it. Third thing I want to talk about is Brittany Griner being heavily promoted by a lot of social media in the WNBA. And the fourth thing I want to talk about is just my trip to Alaska. So what's going on? It's very odd after taking a break and just staring at the screen. It's kind of, I don't really normally get nervous. Obviously, I've been doing this for a long time, but after being away for so long, it's kind of strange just staring at a screen and doing my live show, but that's what it is. Appreciate you guys for being here. So the report is that Ron DeSantis is going to kick off his 2024 presidential campaign on Twitter with Elon Musk. Vanity Fair reported that Ron DeSantis will announce his 2024 bid with Elon Musk because apparently David Duke wasn't available. The media is just insane. Vanity Fair, it's like, my gosh, that's ridiculous. But I guess I'll keep it brief because I don't really have much new to say. I would say I don't really care where he announces his presidential campaign. I think that's probably a good move. Elon Musk has a lot of pull. Even though he's got a lot of conservative supporters, Elon's not really traditionally conservative. He's more of a tech guy. He's got a lot of moderates on his side. And I think it's probably a pretty smart way to announce it in a Twitter space, maybe do a question and answer. I'm not sure. I just want to read a few kind of responses to it because getting out of social media for a week, it's weird jumping back in. And I know I'm not the only person who's ever taken a week break or anything, and I'm not trying to act like I'm so special, but just hopping back into Twitter, like not using it and then jumping back in, I'm not even going to lie, it kind of freaks me out. It's like people are arguing, the loop is there. And, I'm going to read this is from MAGA War Room. I guess this is some sort of like Trump group that's, responding to the Ron DeSantis thing. Says, this is one of the most out of touch campaign launches in modern history. The only thing less relatable than a niche campaign launch on Twitter is DeSantis's after party at the Uber Elite Four Seasons Resort in Miami. So this is some sort of Trump, affiliated group being like, DeSantis is so out of touch. He's launching it on Twitter. I mean, how out of touch is that? And then he's going for this Elite Four Seasons after party. This is the thing that bothers me with politics is everybody's such a hypocrite. People act like children. Trump wines and dines influencers at Mar-a-Lago all the time. Trump is always at expensive places because he's rich. Why? What do you think? Trump's going to stay at like a Motel 6 or something? It's Trump. But if you're going to wine and dine all these influencers and people at Mar-a-Lago, which is a super elitist thing to do, you would think you'd at least have the honesty to be like, well, if someone else has an after party at a nice place and all we do is party at nice places because we own nice places, maybe we shouldn't be hypocrites and act like that's so crazy. But this is politics. I mean, people think just because I'm conservative or I lean right or you lean right, that it means you're better than the left. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, the left is weird and they're annoying. But so many people are fake. So many people are hypocrites. Like, this is the best that the Trump campaign could say about it, that it's so out of touch to, what do you want? Ron DeSantis to party at a Motel 6? Yeah, he's doing an event at the Four Seasons just like Trump does an event at Mar-a-Lago. But this is like my Twitter feed. And people wonder why I feel the way I feel. It's like, I'm not a child. I'm not a liar. Like, is this how I fit in politics? I gotta be like, that's so out of touch. Now I'm gonna go eat at Mar-a-Lago. It's like, but that's not out. Like, just be honest. People can't be honest in this game. This is why some of the worst people in the world get into politics. Overall, I'm glad Ron DeSantis is running. I've talked to a lot of people. Some people like him, some people don't. One of the main things that I've heard is, he shouldn't run. He should wait till 2028. He's going to divide the party. I don't see it that way. I think Trump needs competition. I've been very vocal about this. I think the Pavlov's dog experiment reminds me of politics a lot. Like with Trump, if you guys don't know, it's like a main psychology experiment they teach in school. I believe the Pavlov dog experiment is they give the dog food, they ring a bell, they give the dog food, they ring a bell, they give the dog food, they ring a bell, they keep doing it. And then they take the food away and they ring the bell, and the dog still salivates as if there's food still there. So it shows the psychological experiment of basically programming somebody to think that this means this. Politics is the same. Obviously, we're better than dogs, or at least I think we are. I don't know. Dogs are pretty cool and they're pretty friendly. But I do believe in humanity. I think we're smarter. People do have animalistic tendencies, in my opinion, where with Trump, I'm not trying to be rude, but I do think that people have been conditioned. Like, it's like, 2015, good year, 2016, he's telling the truth. 2017, he's telling the truth. 2018, he's telling the truth. 2019, he's telling the truth. 2020, he turns into a vaccine salesman and starts lying and becoming, in my opinion, a communist. He's supporting communist policies against freedom policies. And people can't separate the Trump that used to be from the Trump that is now, because they were conditioned to think that he was so real because he was so real. So I feel like in general, I like that DeSantis is running because I think Trump needs to be challenged. I think people are losing it a little bit because it's like the left-right paradigm. So it's like, well, if it's not the left, it's the right. If, Trump says this, then it must be true about DeSantis. And I find that it's gotten so stale and childish that I just don't see it the same way that a lot of people see it. I'll say this. I see the pros and cons in Trump. I see the pros and cons of DeSantis. We've talked about it a lot. I just don't believe Trump when he says all these things. Like, he's also not all those things. So I think that I don't fully trust DeSantis or Trump. I see it for what it is, a clown show, a bunch of opportunists, a lot of people that are disingenuine for whatever reasons, etc. A political system that's controlled by donors a lot of times. But I do think that personally, I think that Trump talks a lot, but doesn't do a lot. Like, he'll throw up his hands and talk about things, but I feel like his pragmatic sense in politics and his ability to execute isn't there. I think he's great at like pretending to do it and raising like a storm. Where I think with DeSantis in general, I think he's kind of the opposite. He doesn't make a huge scene, but he actually does what Trump says he's going to do. And it's like, I'll do it in 2025. It's like, maybe you will. But I want to show one example that I found really night and day. And there's other things, but this is Trump's surge in general. This is from a week ago. This is not from 2020. This is 2023. He said, if you think COVID is over, it's not. If you think we're seeing anything more than the tip of the iceberg, you're mistaken. If you think it won't impact you or someone you care about, you're wrong. That's who Trump hired for surge in general. He says COVID, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's just started. DeSantis hired Joseph Ladapo. He was on the front lines of Washington protesting the lockdowns. He has recommended against the vaccine for kids and adult males. Like, it couldn't possibly be different. It's like Trump hires a Pence guy. Trump hires what I would consider just a big pharma shill, a loser. And DeSantis hires somebody that actually isn't controlled. Am I saying that that's going to be the truth to DeSantis's entire campaign? Probably not. I'm sure he's going to hire some losers and deep state people as well. But I don't see any correction in Trump's campaign. I've never seen an apology. He's never admitted he was wrong. He continues to surround himself by those same type of opportunists and losers. I feel like DeSantis is more pragmatic, and I feel like Trump has his base under a spell. I think he just says things and people just keep repeating them, but I don't think they're necessarily true. So overall, If the election were tomorrow, personally, I would vote for DeSantis over Trump, not because I fully trust him or believe in him. I just think that he's more pragmatic. And when Trump talks about stuff, I think that DeSantis actually executes on it. And I think people don't like DeSantis enough to actually just have like a cult around it. I'm going to talk about the Durham report next, but people basically made an entire religion around believing that the Durham report was going to blow things out of the water and trust the plan. And, Trump's got a Nikola Tesla time machine. And even when he doesn't do it, it's become like a religion where I don't feel like people like DeSantis that much. So if DeSantis does something swampy, I feel like the Republican base will be like, DeSantis is being a swamper. And that's good. The base should be alive. If Trump does it, I've talked about this hundreds of times, but people can't seem to bring themselves to actually treat him like another politician. It's like if DeSantis hired, I don't know, a Goldman Sachs guy. It's like, oh, he must be working for Goldman Sachs. When Trump does it, it's like maybe he elevated them to the position to show the world who they really are. It's so weird. It's so strange. I feel like it's a huge trap. So I'm glad he's running. I'm glad he's competing with Trump. I think it's going to get ugly, and I just hope that the best man wins and it brings the best out of both people. I'm guessing it's not. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of mudslinging, personal attacks, and ego, just people acting psychotic like a lot of influencers are doing. They're not looking for the truth. They're just like yelling and fighting with each other hysterically. So is what it is, but I think Trump needs to be challenged. I think the base needs to challenge him. And I think that DeSantis is really who Trump pretended to be. And Trump is, maybe would do stuff for the next 4 years, but I see him as someone who just like goes like this, and it's like, okay, are you going to do it? It's like, oh, I could have done it, but I just almost did it. That I hired the bad people, but it's not my fault for hiring them. It's their fault for existing, even though they couldn't have got the job without me, but it's not my fault because, I just hire everybody bad, but I'm a victim. It's like, I don't know. It's shocking to me that so many people really still buy into it. However, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain about it. If that's how people want to act and they want to live vicariously through this idea that he's going to save their whole lives and ignore logic and reason and evidence, over emotional worship of a political figure, then the results are going to, you'll get what you get, just like you have for the last 30, 40 years. There's going to be some good stuff. There's going to be some bad stuff. We still live in the United States of America, but as bad as both parties are, I do hope Republicans win. I think the Republicans are the lesser of two evils, and I really hope they don't blow this next election. But I have pretty much zero faith in the Republican Party. It's a clown show. Let me know what you guys think. That's my take. The Durham report, I'm going to read. This is a Hill article. They actually wrote a good article about it. So when I was gone, right when I was leaving, the Durham report was released. John Durham was appointed, I believe, by Trump as a special counsel to investigate the FBI and all that Russia collusion origins. This, I would say, hatched one of the biggest theories ever. And I'm not smearing people because I think the word conspiracy theory is stupid and it's overused and abused. But the whole QAnon thing, like the trust the plan, Donald Trump, it has a plan for you. We're all going to arrest the bad guys, even though at the end, instead of Hillary Clinton getting locked up, America got locked up. And the biggest trust the planners went to the Capitol and got arrested, even though they thought the pedophiles were going to get arrested. I mean, despite the fact that nothing they said happened, they just keep dragging it out forever. Anyway, the main thing was like the Durham report. They're like, when this thing drops, trust me, it's all, and it was just dragging out for years. And we're like, where is this John Durham guy? It finally dropped. And it is a legitimate report. The question is like, is it going to mean anything? We constantly have evidence of what they did during lockdowns and what Big Pharma did and what the Democrats did and what the Republicans did. We all know. Everybody knows. This isn't really new news. Everybody knows. But what are Republicans going to do? I feel like Democrats actually do stuff and then Republicans just like wave their hands in the air. I feel like the whole party's controlled opposition. And I'm not saying that to be edgy. It's like, it reminds me of Tom and Jerry. That's the example I always use. It's like they always chase each other because that's the show. And the second that Tom catches Jerry, it's over. So they never catch him. To me, the Republicans, that's who they are. They're like Ted Cruz. It's Tom and Jerry. He's not really trying. Abbott, Trump. Yeah, they're almost there, guys. Oh man, they're this close. Yeah, it's that way forever. But maybe they're secretly working on something. It's just going to take 1,000 years. Who knows? Maybe my grandkids will tell me about, how John Durham eventually came through. But anyway, this is the report. I'm going to read it. It's definitely some damning stuff. But once again, my opinion doesn't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter. Is the Republican Party or anyone in government actually going to do anything about it? My vote is on no, but I would love to be happily surprised. That would be a great day. Durham report: the FBI is as bad as you feared, maybe worse, said Merrill Matthews of The Hill. Shout out to The Hill for putting out a fair opinion piece. Special counsel John Durham has finally released his report looking at the origins of the Trump-Russian collusion hoax. If you believe there was or is a deep state of bureaucrats, Washington insiders, and power brokers who operate outside the law and do pretty much whatever they want, in this case, you were right. Chalk one up for the conspiracy theorists. While Durham report has a lot of criticism to go around, the FBI is one of its major concerns. Unfortunately, there are two other recent developments that amplify concerns at the FBI. Special counsel John Durham has released his report. It should be said that an outset that I've only known a few FBI agents, the writer said. Those agents were dedicated professionals and great individuals, and I continue to believe the same could be said about the vast majority rank and file agents, but clearly something has gone amiss, at least at the top echelons of the agency. Let's start with the Durham report, since it's most thorough and public. Recall the Mueller report from Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller. Looked into whether there was Russian government efforts to interfere with the 2016 presidential election, including if there were any coordinated efforts with members of the Trump campaign. Mueller found no such evidence. The Durham report looked at how the Russia collusion hoax gained traction. One key factor was a failure at the FBI. According to report's executive summary, the Crossfire Hurricane, was opened as a full investigation without having spoken to the person who provided the information. That was a major failure, but far from the only one. The report continues. Further, the FBI did so without any significant review of its own intelligence databases, collection, and examination of any relevant intelligence from other U.S. intelligence entities, interviews of witnesses essential to understand the raw information it received, or using any of the standard analytical tools typically employed by the FBI in evaluating raw intelligence. So, the FBI agents in charge of Crossfire Hurricane pretty much ignored all of their standard procedures for this type of investigation. Those procedures, were in place to protect the public and privacy of U.S. citizens and to prevent the agency from spending resources and taxpayer money on wild goose chases, like it turns out, Crossfire Hurricane. So, big shocker. They didn't follow any protocols and ran us in circles. I'm sure that was just a coincidental mistake for the best of our country. Just like having the media and personalities aggressively call everybody Russians for 4 years. I'm sure that was just totally random. Oh, you like Bernie Sanders more than Hillary? You must be a Russian. Oh, you like Trump more than Hillary? You must be a Russian. Everyone's Russian. Russia. We get it. The deep state wants to start a war with Russia. There's some sort of, economic battle, and now there's a physical battle going on with Ukraine. We get it. I'm not saying it's good. It's obviously not. But if you need to start a war with a foreign country, that's your business. We're just normal citizens. But the least you could do is not just shit on everybody all the time. Like, can you guys do that? Can you guys start foreign wars without, turning the war inwards and blaming everybody else? I don't think they could do that. It's so annoying. It's like, I'm not Russian. I've never been to Russia. I mean, you can go to Russia. People have gone to Russia. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's like, oh, you must be Russian. It's like so annoying. And the interesting part before I read on is only a few people are pointing this out. But when everybody's like, under Trump, there's been no wars. He didn't start any new wars. It's true. He didn't start any foreign wars, but I would consider the 2020 lockdowns and the Operation Warp Speed Big Pharma socialist scam, I would consider that a war on America. So instead of fighting outward, Trump administration and the Democrats, bipartisan, the uniparty, they turned their war inwards on you. So it's like 3 years of Democrats beating you down because you're a Republican and you support Trump. And then 1 year of the Republicans turning with the Democrats and beating down on you and then throwing their hands up and pretending like they never did it. So I don't know if it's much better, but, all war is bad. Anyway, I'm going to read on. Of course, one of the, I don't know. I mean, do I really have to read all this? Are you guys getting bored? I'm sure a lot of people have looked into it. Long story short, I'm just going to cut it short because I don't want to bore everybody. The Durham report pretty much said everything everyone knows, that the FBI didn't follow their protocols with the Trump Russia collusion investigation, I think it's pretty clear what happened. They want to fulfill a narrative, so they try to make it happen by any means necessary. And it's pretty creepy stuff. I'm not someone who hates law enforcement. I don't hate the government. I'm not a hateful person, despite what they write about me or say about me. I understand that there's good and bad police officers, there's good and bad people of all kinds, and there's good and bad people who work for the government. That's just true. With that being said, I mean, they're getting extra sloppy. I mean, they've probably always been sloppy, but I don't think they care. I really don't think they care. I don't think there is the same accountability for an FBI agent that there is for a regular person. It's the same with police. Some of the reason that not everybody, but a lot of people hate police officers is because if you do something as a normal citizen, you usually get held accountable or you get held to a higher standard. A lot of times if you're a police officer, they have a big ego. They think they're so much above the law because in many ways they are. Sometimes they're not, sometimes they are. That's why people tend to not like police officers. I know there's good and bad, but I've had good experiences and bad experiences. With that being said, above a police officer would be like an agent. It's like if you are an FBI agent or you work for the government, I'm sure if you're low level, you might get held accountable. But if you're high level, these people pretty much can do this type of stuff and nothing will happen. So I don't think they have any sort of fear of messing up because it's just what it is. In my view, the media, the Democrats, some Republicans, some intelligence people, they want the outcome that they're saying, and they're willing to do anything to try to make it happen. That's my opinion, and based on a lot of evidence. And that's a really creepy thing. For instance, when it came to the Gretchen Whitmer plot that people have been arrested and charged for, did they try to stop a government plot? Or did they try to start one? This is where the line really crosses. There's a CNN article I read about an FBI agent that was egging on somebody to basically commit terrorism. It was a Muslim guy who was depressed, and he said, I want to kill myself. And it looked like the agent was telling him, why don't you kill other people? This is not my opinion. This is a mainstream CNN article that got released under some sort of, transparency government thing. And it showed that this guy was depressed. He's like, no, I just want to hurt myself. And the agent's like, no, why don't you do something to more people? Like egging some depressed guy on to hurt people. That's insane. So this is the type of stuff. I read the whole article and I was even blown away. Obviously, I know this type of corruption exists, but when you see that with your own eyes, it's really sad because you want to believe that they're just, busting like trafficking rings and drugs and bad people. But when you see that, it's like, are you trying to stop a plot? Are you trying to stop violence, or are you trying to create violence? And that really leads the question of like, how many things are real and how many things are false flags? I know that real bad people exist. There's murders, there's criminals, but then there's also feds who seem like they have the desire, some of them, to create the outcome that they want. For example, they wanted to create tension between America and Russia to a level that it's never been to launch what seems like this, a war. And I understand that Russia also launched a war in Ukraine, but this is not just one-sided. We've been really egging them on for years, and there's been tension there for years. If I like Bernie Sanders more than Hillary Clinton, and every media site's trying to call me a Russian, and I'm not even Russian, that's a little weird. And then you have the FBI, Trump collusion thing that seems to line up. It's like they want that to be the outcome, so they're willing to do almost anything. It's just really creepy, and it's really sad because you have to wonder what people are trying to do. In this country, I'll just end on this note. Clearly, there's too much division. Clearly, there's too much crime. Clearly, people are losing their minds on both sides, I would say. We have a mental health problem in this country. We have a pharmaceutical problem in this country. We have a weight problem in this country. I mean, this country is suffering in many ways. We're still a great country. I appreciate America, but we're suffering. Does the government care? And I'm not saying they're to blame. I don't look at them and blame them for all my problems. But when you look at the COVID-19 stuff, it's like, in my view, they're trying to hurt us. I don't see it any other way. It's like you lock people in their houses, you take away their access to gyms and weight facilities, Kids are getting depressed. You force mask them. You probably ruined a generation of kids. They already had anxiety, depression, and no social skills because they grew up on TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat, and they don't even know how to talk to people in person. And you take the real world away from them for 2 years. Everybody gets fatter, overdoses. And you're trying to tell me you're trying to help my health? Where's all these government programs? Trump did a socialist scam with Big Pharma to give them $18 billion to scam the world. How come did they give $18 billion to outdoor workout facilities? Did they give $18 billion to promote, working out at home and fitness? Did they give $18 billion to promote how to eat properly and ways that you could keep down your weight? These people don't give a crap about you. Either they're so delusional, so egotistical, and so narcissistic that they actually believe that they're helping and they're not, or they just straight up don't care. I don't really see it any other way. You can't convince me that that was helpful in any way. And that's what's going on. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Clearly, they wanted to push this narrative to, I would say, block Trump. I don't even know if they thought they could get him out, but they successfully wasted his time, wasted a lot of people's energy, wasted a lot of people's journalism. And I think that's the way the left operates, and the right hasn't figured it out yet. They basically control the narrative, and then you defend against their narrative, but you're still wasting their time defending. Imagine you were a farmer and you're planting stuff every day, and then someone comes and makes you like stop planting stuff to like fight them off for 3 years. And then you're like, oh, we won. Trump was innocent. It's like, well, no, they won because they spent 3 years of your time. How many thousands of videos and reports, and what were conservatives talking about? I believe Republicans had the Senate, Republicans had the House, and they had the presidency. What did they do? They did nothing. They ran in circles around Russian collusion for 2 years, and then they blamed Paul Ryan, even though they're all friends with Paul Ryan. Trump tweeted after Paul Ryan left, he said his legacy couldn't be questioned, and we're all with you, Paul. Does that sound like somebody that got stonewalled by Paul Ryan? It's Tom and Jerry, folks. And once people wake up to this, we could have a little more success. I mean, I don't know how much we could really do from our computers or anything, but if you at least don't play along, there's value there. It's like, Target did some, I don't even know. It's like everybody's like super trans now or something. Everybody's gay, whatever. Like Target did something, conservatives cried about it. Then they like took the product off the market. All I'm saying, same with the Bud Light thing. It's like, if, you work with your money. So if you're really upset at something and you take your money away, they'll see that. You take your attention away, they'll see that. So as long as you keep feeding the Tom and Jerry show, as long as you're so invested in these WWE characters, you're not really a threat to the system, in my view. Somebody that really likes Joe Biden, there's probably 5 of those people, and they all have TikTok accounts, and they probably work for his campaign. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't even think people like Biden that much. They just hate conservatives and Trump, and that creates the little dynamic. It's like, we hate you, na na, poo poo, na na, and both sides fight each other, and they think they're doing so much. They're like, oh, I'm fighting the conservatives in Alabama, and they're like, oh, I'm fighting the liberals by posting it's like, the right might as well be liberals. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we're going to act like liberals, dress up like liberals, and, we're going to post them all the time. And that's how we're going to stop them, is by giving them promotion. It's like, it's such a cycle. And I feel like that's kind of part of the scheme. The same way that the Democrats will do the Russia collusion thing, waste everybody's time, run everybody in circles, create the narrative that they want, push it. And the best that conservatives can do is defend against that, even though they have all the tools to metaphorically attack with the House, the Senate, and the presidency, but they don't, because they don't care. Oh, no, it was this guy or this guy. Sure, it was. It's always going to be that guy or that guy. That's exactly what it was. I don't think they really care. And look no further than 2020. If they really care, they're not going to be running around selling vaccines like Bill Gates, being like, oh, it's so great. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, get the Trump vaccine, y'all. Even DeSantis sold the vaccine. Trump's still selling the vaccine. You think they really care that much? You think they don't have access to the internet and everything we else have? No, that's their business. Their business is with pharma. Not you, but they're really good at pretending like it's you. They go to TPUSA and they're like, ugh. And then there's like these fake fights they put on. It's like, DeSantis is an elitist because he's launching his campaign on Twitter. Here, come hang out at me at Mar-a-Lago. That's not elite. It's like, just stop being a hypocrite. If you hang out at Mar-a-Lago, sure, who cares? But you're going to say DeSantis is an elitist for doing a Four Seasons party, but not you for lobbying all my friends at Mar-a-Lago so they can't even do reporting against you? It's so fake. This is all so fake. It's so obvious. It's so fake. People just love buying into it. But just like the left buying into fighting the right, this whole fake game doesn't exist unless you're fighting them in this non-existent arena that's not going anywhere. So it's like as soon as you step to the side, it all ends. But long story short, with this story, the Durham report, we all knew this. Now it's official. It's important, I think, to have documentation of this officially for U.S. history. What's going to happen? What are the Republicans going to do? Probably nothing. And with that being said, I'm going to move on to the next story, which it kind of segues into. But to me, what I think will change America at this point is you have to wake people up and snap people out of the political paradigm. And that includes right wingers and left wingers. But it doesn't matter what Durham or Trump says if enough people don't buy into it. It's a numbers game. If America wants something, they'll get it. But if we can't wake up people, it doesn't matter what Trump or Durham says. It just doesn't. So that needs to be people's focus. If they really want to change the country on the media side or the culture side or the political side, you have to actually try to get more people on your side. And what I've noticed, and maybe this isn't the case all the time, but what I've noticed with a lot of influencers, they're not really trying to make a cohesive argument to people that don't know already. They're basically just milking conservatives dry and milking Trump supporters dry. It's like, how much can we milk out of these people? How many Trump sweaters can we sell? How many times can we hang out at Mar-a-Lago? How annoying can we act? How unlikable can we act? How fake can we act? How aggressive can we act? How off-putting can we act? And be like, ha, ha, ha. That's like the energy I see with a lot of pages. Like, nah, I'm the cool kid. You're not cool. Ha, ha. Like, sorry, I'm just sorry. That's what I see. And I just, it creates the perfect battle. It's just like, you act like that, they act like that, you're annoying, they're annoying. Here, let the annoying people fight with each other. And it's like, haha, we're winning, you're big. It's like, you both suck. You both are annoying. You both suck. And that's where they want you. They want you fighting over that stuff because it doesn't matter. So that's what I'm going to say before I move forward is, in order to actually get results from something like the Durham report, people have to actually care. If people don't care, it doesn't matter. If people don't care about voter ID, it doesn't matter. Unless your state can pass something, fighting over nothing is just not going to change anything. You got to convince people and increase the amount of people who agree with you. Someone said you sound too libtard. Kim, you can't even spell properly. And also, this is what I'm saying. I vote probably the same way you vote, but I'm trying to tell you to reach out to the other side. And you're like, you're too libtard. That's why no one likes you. I'm not even a libtard, but you're calling me a libtard because I'm telling you how to win. Fine, just go to a Trump page and just be annoying. Just be annoying and see how that works. I don't have to get anyone to like me. I'm cool. No, you're not. You're annoying. Everyone's annoyed by you. I'm annoyed by you. Most conservative voters are annoyed by you. Liberals are annoyed by you. Your kids probably don't. I'm not trying to be rude, but your kids are probably annoyed by you. And you don't, it's like, but I don't have to do it. Okay, then don't expect anything to change. When the Durham report drops, no one cares except people who watch Fox News and Newsmax. And that number's shrinking because they're propagandizing your kids. So do you want to wake up enough people so that the Durham report actually matters? Or do you just want to keep spitting into the wind to people who already agree with you? And that number's dwindling and dwindling because you're so annoying that even people who agree with you don't even want to hang out and listen to you. I'm not trying to be a dick. It's just the reality. I don't understand who told people that a good way to do politics is just by chasing everyone away and acting like a kindergartner on the thing. Like, get away, you libtard. It's like, no wonder why the kids are voting like 90% liberal. It's like, that's your big pitch to them. Here, go off to liberal school for 4 years so everything that I taught you can be erased in your mind, and I'm just going to yell. It's like, okay. Is that really? I'm going to move to the next topic, but that's pretty sad that what I'm saying is controversial. I'm like, I want there to be change, but in order psychologically for any of these things to matter, enough people have to get on board, and you have to make a cultural mindset shift where like 70% of the country or 80% of the country wants to do something, as opposed to like 20 and 30%. And the numbers are that small because people don't even realize, and I'm going to talk about it in the next story, but most people don't really pay attention. Most people who are going to vote for Biden or DeSantis or Trump, these are not people that are on Trump pages or MSNBC. These are people who watch basketball. These are people who go to music concerts. These are people who don't pay attention, but their vote counts the same as mine. It doesn't matter if I sit in the library all year reading about the Constitution. My vote counts the same as somebody who's at Coachella doing Molly, voting for Joe Biden because Cardi B told them to vote for her. And I'm not saying it's a good strategy, but it's like, at a certain point, you don't have to cave your values, but you do want to consider, changing. To me, this is where the Republicans are. They're basically, and Trump, they're molding the minds of people to just be like robots. It's like you press a button and they just say the same four things, like, beep, the election was taken, boop, yeah, blah, blah. It's like there's no like energy to it. Like you talk to somebody else, I might as well be talking to a Sean Hannity bobblehead that just has 5 phrases. Like it doesn't mean that everything people are saying is wrong. It just means like there's no soul to it. You're not explaining it. You're not even trying to pitch it to somebody on the fence. You're basically just trying to chase everybody away and talk to people who agree with you, who are going to just agree with you. It's not a long form success story. And that's where Trump's kind of got people. It's like DeSantis, Florida sucks. It's like, no, dude, you moved to Florida. Florida's the worst place to retire, says some wallethub.com. Yeah, I'm sure wallethub.com says a lot of things, Trump. It doesn't mean that Florida is a bad place to retire. Everybody wants to retire in Florida. That's why millions of people are moving there. But but it's like this whole movement has become just like a let's chase everyone away, be annoying, and call you a libtard when you tell the truth. It's like, yeah, that'll really work. And then if it doesn't work, we don't even have to take accountability. We could just blame the election. It's like, if you don't believe in the election, I don't blame you. That's fine. But then stop talking about a candidate for an election. If you don't believe in elections, stop talking about a candidate for elections. You believe in them, or else you wouldn't talk about the candidate. So what is this strategy of not believing in elections and voting for the guy who doesn't believe in the elections, thinking he's going to win the election, doing nothing to put yourself in a good position to actually beat the Democrats in the general, because then you could just cry victim when you lose and say that it got taken from you. If you think it's going to get taken from you, quit right now. Let somebody else run that actually thinks they could win, and let them play a little delusional game. And then if they somehow win, then, you could reassess your situation or blame something else. It doesn't make any sense. Trump's got people on this goofy loop. I really think it's like, at this point, it's like a Pied Piper where he's just conditioning conservatives to just march off into the ocean so we can have 4 more years of Joe Biden. I don't get where this is going. But maybe you do. All right, my next story is going to be a wild one. So if you guys don't know the WNBA, it's a thing. It's like a women's basketball league where it's subsidized by the NBA because they're not actually profitable because people don't actually watch it. And this year, more than any year, I've noticed, because I'm a sports fan, they've been pushing the WNBA extremely aggressively, like super hard on social media, super hard on television. They really want you to watch the WNBA. I saw this, and I'm going to make a whole new video where I have pop-ups of it. Bleacher Report posted this picture of Brittany Griner. It says, "I'm back." And it said, Brittany Griner drops 27 points and 10 rebounds in her first home game since 2021. So they're trying to push Brittany Griner. And I watched one of these games. I think I watched that game actually on the boat I was on. And there's a blackout in the stands because there's nobody there. So instead of showing that the whole stadium's empty, they actually, it seems like either CGI or just the lights, they make it look black as if it's like a small arena. They're using like technology now to just psyop you into thinking it's like a poppin' stadium. Anyway, I'm going to read all the comments to what people said about Brittany Griner because this is just true. So keep in mind that this is on not a conservative page, not a right-wing page. This is just a sports page. It's got all sorts of people. Here's all the comments. Someone said, glad she wasn't rushing her shots out there. Played solid, had some lockup D as well. She smoked the opposition, making fun of her smoking, D, and her rush in jail. Someone said, didn't they just lose and are now 2-0-2? Someone said he's him. Someone said the Heat Celtics game is on, by the way. Someone said, oh, yeah. And so is the dangerous Russian arms dealer is back. Someone said searching for somebody who cares. Someone said she must have hit the vape pen before the game started. Someone said we really traded a top Russian arms dealer for this mid-ass basketball player. Someone said, damn, Ben Simmons hooping for real, for real. Marty St. Cloud said, I'm so proud of that young man. William Stanton said, I think I speak for most, if not all people, when I say we do not care. Someone said we lost the trade. Someone said should still be in Russia. Someone said put her back in jail. Petition to send Brittany Griner back to Russia. I'd rather watch Dylan Brooks play. Really acting like she's MJ. She's better than Ayton. Her stock is going back up. Trade her to the Middle East for Al-Qaeda's general right now. Bro should have stayed. Ben Simmons balling again. Put him back in jail. Someone said he's back. Don't care. She's not dropping more than 10 on me, to be honest. First trans woman to ever play the game. Get this bloke off my effing screen. This is the type of stuff people are saying on Bleacher Report. And, you know, I don't condone the misgendering and hate speech, obviously. I mean, I think, you know, that should be a sentence of 50 years minimum. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, I mean, the reason I pointed this out is because I just wanted to say, like, this is not a Trump page. This is not a right-wing page. This is not a conservative page. This is how the general public feels about the WNBA and Brittany Griner. Like, that's a public, nonpartisan sports page. In the top 50 comments, there were maybe 2 or 3 positive comments, and the rest were calling her a man, saying that she should be back in Russia in jail, and that trading Brittany Griner for a war criminal, it was like a horrible mistake. I think this kind of shows that a lot of people agree with conservative values and culture, especially when it comes to that trade with Russia, but conservatives and Republicans haven't figured out how to be likable enough to reach the masses and get people on their side. I mean, obviously they have enough people on their side. It's not like zero. It's like a very delicate split in America. But I read those and I was like, geez, this is like a mainstream non-political page, and you would think it was a right-wing page. I think a lot of people's instincts kick in when it comes to certain topics. When you talk about certain things, people just say how they feel. Most people are not watching Fox or Newsmax or MSNBC. Most people are not really caring what Rachel Maddow says or what Joe Biden or Trump says. Most people don't live in that world. And I'm just going to say this before I move on. I think the future will be won by the people who understand that most people don't actually care about politics and that most people are not that ideologically different. It's just the approach from politicians is not always the best way to reach people. So let me know what you think. I think that shows how many people are maybe more conservative on that topic. And I think, you know, Republicans and conservatives just do a very poor job of hitting the average person who doesn't care, because it's almost like most Republicans talk to everybody as if they know so much and they care so much when people really don't. I think Democrats have mastered the art of scooping up people that don't really pay attention. And, you know, like a George Floyd narrative is something that scoops up the average person who doesn't really care. This Brittany Griner topic, I mean, people are out there like calling Brittany Griner a man. That's kind of wild. I don't know. What if you're the WNBA or Brittany Griner's manager or Bleacher Report and you're reading these comments? It's like 99% of people are just bashing it. Are you just going to keep posting this all the time and trying to shove the WNBA down people's throats? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're trying really hard this year. And the WNBA is not profitable. It's subsidized. I think there's a reason for it. I think it's cool and everything, but men are just better. I watch the game. Men are faster. They shoot better. They dunk better. It's just a higher level. I think there are some cool women's sports, and I'm not mad at WNBA. It's just, I don't know that it's, no matter how much you promote it, I don't think it's going to get to where they think it's going to get to. It's just not. Good luck though. I mean, who knows? There's other women's sports that are doing well. Women's boxing. Katie Taylor fought in Ireland recently, sold out crowd. Women's MMA. I think women's tennis has done well for a while. Will women's basketball get there? I don't know. But they're trying to promote it, and people are basically just dunking metaphorically on Brittany Griner and the WNBA on a nonpartisan page. Pretty interesting. All right. Last story. It's just a personal story, and then I'm going to take off. Before I leave, I want to tell you a few things I might do differently, but I was in Alaska for a week doing a few things. I was trying to take a break, to take a step back, to take 2 steps forward, enjoying the scenery. I also shot a music video out there for my song, I Don't Want to Go to Hell. It's going to be a Christian rap song with no curses with this guy, Mike Servin. It's going to be out June 2nd. The pre-order's out now if you go to like my Twitter or Instagram. But I had a great time. I went to 3 places in Alaska on a cruise. They took me there. It was Icy Strait Point, Sitka, Alaska, and Juneau. I don't know how to say it. Sorry, I'm uncultured swine. The first place I went, it was pretty cool, is Icy Strait Point, or Huna. There's a population of like 700 or 800 people there. We didn't have any excursions. They were like 2 times the price with inflation. I went a couple years ago. Everything was like 2 times or 3 times the price. They're trying to jack up all the, excursions. And I was like, you know what? Let's just wing it and go to town. So I took a shuttle to town. We're just walking around a town with like a couple hundred people. And one of the guys recognizes me there. He says, "Oh my gosh, Anomaly." He has a huge bald eagle on his shirt. And he was like, I'll take you on a bear excursion for free. I do like a bear tour. So I got a free tour from a local because he recognized me. And I've been recognized a lot. I always appreciate it. You could always come up and say hi. I'm very friendly. But I feel like I extra appreciated that because there were only 700 people in town. So I was joking with him. I was like, dude, I guess half the town, likes my show. It's like one of the most remote towns there are. So we went on a little tour. That was fun. Then I went to Sitka, and I walked into the coffee shop. They said it was the best coffee shop in town, one of the only coffee shops in town. And the owner recognized me, and she took me on a little tour as well. She took me to like natural drinking water, showed me her property and like the view and stuff. Sitka, Alaska is beautiful. And that was pretty cool as well. Just meeting like a local business owner. She was telling me about the politics of Sitka. Pretty cool stuff. So, I appreciate taking breaks and stuff from my job. Sorry about today. When I take a break, I don't really get anxiety or anything. I'm not a scared person, but when I started this live and it popped up, I kind of got anxiety today just because I haven't stared at the screen for a while, and I just kind of got nervous doing live. So sorry if my energy's off a little today, but yeah, it was pretty cool. So as much as I like taking a break, I appreciate that the work I put in connects me with people all over the world where I could get free tours and, just chat with the locals wherever I go. So that was pretty cool. And then we shot the music video out there as well, had fun, played a lot of sports and stuff. So it was a good time. Last thing I wanted to say was I was thinking when I left the cruise, because I scheduled some posts and certain things that I scheduled on Facebook have done better than a lot of my live streams. And I've come to the conclusion that although I like going live all the time, I think I'm going to switch up my format because it makes more sense for the current era. When I used to go live all the time during the pandemic, we would have 6,000 people, 4,000 people. I had 10,000 people live on Facebook. And that day, I remember that day, I was talking about mandates on airplanes. I think we had 10 to 12,000 people live. They took away my live streams and suspended me for a week. I was getting too big. They didn't want me to have that type of influence, and they tried to knock it down. From then on, I had 4,000, then 2,000, then 1,000. And I've noticed the numbers go down, and I'm not going to play the victim. I'm not going to say it's all shadow banning and censorship. I do think that Facebook is not showing people, they're trying to phase out live streams, or they just don't value it the same way that maybe Rumble or YouTube does. So it's harder and harder to build for the lives. Meanwhile, I still have a 1.6 million people on Facebook and a huge audience, etc. So it's still there. And I got more traction on a little clip than I have on my lives for a while. So I thought I'm going to do this. Instead of doing 5, 6, or 7 live streams a week, it also is very taxing because I produce all my shows, etc. I think what I'm going to try to do from now on is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. and try to do a big show with like 5-6 different stories, do those podcasts, put them out on Spotify, Apple, etc., Facebook, YouTube. And then, Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday and Sunday, I think I'm just going to chop up clips and do other work. I have a marketing course I've been working on. I do music. I'm trying to finish my book. It's so close. But I never do it because I'm always just doing live streams and it takes a lot of work. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I think it'll make even my live streams better, because sometimes when I'm doing 6 or 7 a week, I'm just gassed and tired. So I want to work smart and not just hard, because I still have a bigger audience than I've ever had. My Instagram has almost 500,000 people. My engagement is crazy. My Facebook engagement's crazy. I can do picture posts, get thousands of shares, clips, etc. So I don't want to keep pushing these long lives on Facebook if they're not, it's not what Facebook wants to show. They want to show reels. They want to show shorter clips. So that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday show, put my all into it, try to do 5, 6, 7 stories. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to chop up those stories into smaller, more digestible clips with videos and pictures and just a better presentation. Because I'll say this as well, I think some of my best work I've ever done was in 2020, because I was spending, people don't even realize how much taxing it was. I mean, it's not the hardest job in the world, but I'm spending like 8 hours on a video. I'm doing research. I'm cutting up clips. I'm editing 10 to 12-minute videos. And the only reason I stopped doing that was because it just seemed like the format had changed. I wanted to do a podcast. It wasn't really worth it because it wasn't, Instagram changed. And it was like, instead of doing those videos, do a minute. So I started doing the minute reels. And recently I'm pumping out so many live streams, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, I like doing it. It's fun. I like talking, but I should probably just do 3 live streams a week, free up a few days to do other stuff, chop up clips. And I think it's going to get a lot more reach and make the quality higher. So that's what I'm going to do. And this way I could do more reels and short form content as well. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you. The YouTube was open today, the YouTube chat, but I might do the members only next time. I don't know. Maybe I'll rotate it every other time. But yeah, that's what it is. And it's more strategy than anything, because, I'll say this before I leave too. There is censorship. There is shadow banning. I'm not thinking I've been targeted. I know I've been targeted. I've seen it. But I'm not someone who just plays the victim. There's 2 routes you can go if that's happening. One, you move somewhere else, right? You post somewhere else, which I've done. I'm on BitChute. We have over 2 million views. I'm on Rumble. I'm on other social platforms. Or you counter it. So, I'm not somebody who sits there and says, oh, I'm being censored, poor me. It's like, well, I got to do something about it. Either I got to move to another platform or I got to switch it up. In some ways, I think I've been censored, but in other ways, I understand that Facebook is more interested in shorter content right now. They always change their algorithm. And I think from a marketing standpoint, this goes for you guys as well. Any business you run or your own thing, it's important not to play the victim. Yes, you might be getting censored because of your content, but not everything is censorship. Not everything is a personal attack on you. Sometimes Facebook changes the algorithm and you can't do the same thing you did 10 years ago. It's the same way. Everything is like that. It doesn't stay the same. So I think too often people will, do the same thing they did 4 years ago, not get the same results, and then cry about it and be like, oh, I'm not getting the reach that I got 4 years ago. Well, it's like, well, it's not the same social media website. Instagram used to be just pictures. Then it became videos. Then it became square videos. Then it became rectangle videos. Then it became reels. Facebook used to be just statuses. Then it became videos. Then it became live streams. Then it became reels. So, and now they're trying to go back to pictures, I think. They're promoting that more. So I'm seeing the way things are evolving, and I'll still have all that stuff up on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Facebook. I'll still do live streams. It's just I shouldn't do 7 a week. It doesn't really make sense. I should do 3 a week, chop them up into clips, and make the clips even better than the live stream so they're watchable. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you. Have a beautiful day, and I'll be back with more soon. It's always so weird when I stop staring at my computer to go back. It kind of like trips me out. So sorry if I was a little slower today. I got kind of nervous when I got live today. It was just like it all set in. I was like, where am I? After just being out on the mountains for a week, it's just like, it's all good though. Back to work. That's how it goes. Richard Wayne says, don't censor us. You're not being censored, dude. You're good. Have a good one. I'll be back soon. Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, Stay Blessed long sleeve, God is Great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. DreamRare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/RareTalk. For $5 a month, you can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the DreamRare.com shop and Patreon.com/RareTalk. So thank you guys for keeping this show free, unimpeded, uninterrupted. I'm forever grateful. My free email list is stayintouchwithme.com. So check the links below in the description or just type in on any browser, stayintouchwithme.com, all one word. You'll find my email list, put it in there, and it's the least annoying email list you'll ever be on. I barely use it because I don't like getting emailed every day or every week. It's annoying. So I don't do it. Stayintouchwithme.com. It helps me take back some power away from big tech. Telegram, t.me/DreamRareChat or @DreamRareChat. Due to censorship, I post all my live stream and videos there. Sometimes I have some bonus content, and I try to give people a heads up when Facebook or YouTube won't. DreamRareChat at Telegram. My Instagram is @DreamRare. Thanks for everybody following there for shorter content. And DreamRareLinks.com. That's DreamRareLinks.com. Has all my stuff. My podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, my music on Spotify and Apple, my Rumble page, my BitChute and Gab page. All my links are found at DreamRareLinks.com. Thanks for watching, folks. God bless you. You already know I'll be back with more content soon. Appreciate you.